Dynamic Homeschool. In this video, I want to talk about what I keep in my master teacher binder and what it holds and what information I keep in case anybody comes knocking at my door and wants to see what we are learning. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Dynamic Homeschool. So let's talk about what's inside of my master teacher binder. This binder just sits on my desk. It just has important information that I don't need all the time. I would just need if somebody were to knock on the door or if I'm planning for the beginning of the year or tracking attendance, really. So this is not something I'm always getting into. On top of this binder, I also have 4 totes underneath of my stairs. And if you haven't seen the wrap up of my school year, then please check that out. Inside those totes, a quick overview is I gather up all our completed material. I separate it out by child and I take a few from each subject. I paper clip it or rubber band it together with a cover sheet that says their name, the school year, and their grade. And then I just put it inside of their tote. So if anybody were ever to knock, I have information. I have that we actually did school on top of their planner. If they had a planner, I'll put that in there as well. So let's start with what's inside of my binder, which really is just a binder. I think it's a 2-inch. It's working great. I like because you can just open it and put it in and change stuff around. So at the very beginning of my binder, I just have these worksheets that I created because I get this binder when I am planning for the following school year. Because we have course of studies in there, I have this worksheet in there, which has the subject, the curriculum name, the cost, and extras. Extras is if you were buying it from Amazon or eBay or a friend. I just put this here, and then when I'm ready to purchase, then I can take this worksheet and I know how much total it's gonna be or how much I need to save. And I can see this from year to year, whether costs are increasing or, yeah, this is a great worksheet. Down at bottom is extras if you're comparing curriculum. And then there's 2 blank pages for more doodle notes. So I'll put this on my Facebook group, Dynamic Homeschool Facebook group. If you're not a part, please join and you can print this for yourself. It's not very pretty, but it really gets the job done. Next is I have calendars. So I'll switch to this one. This one is our projected calendar. If you haven't seen how I prep for the following year, then please check out that video. But I print out a yearly calendar. We usually go July to July. And I will put down the days that, like our starting school day, the starting school year, and then the ending school year, and then our days off in between that I know about. And then on the back is my clean copy, and this is also my attendance record. So the yellow is the days that we have done school. I like doing this because I like doing half the year of school. So this allows me to track how many days we've actually done in a month. And I can see kind of our trend of which months maybe we are sluggish a little, and maybe I can alter for the next year. So I keep this, I started this back in January, 2021. So I keep all of those together in one spot. Next is I have our alternative notification form. This is done online in the state of South Dakota. So I submit this, they send me a signed copy back. I print it and I put it in our binder with all 4 kids. This is legally saying that I can homeschool. Next is South Dakota had this state graduation pretty picture. I think it's really pretty. And tells me what their peers in public school are doing to graduate. Now, in the state of South Dakota, we don't have to do any of this or some of it or none of it. We don't have to do any of it, but I like it as a foundation for what their peers are doing and if we can just match similar to those core subjects. So this is, I have in there as a reminder. Now, let's go into individual tabs for each child. Under each individual tab, I have, if they've taken the CAT 10, and if you haven't seen my review, then please check that out. But I keep their results in with their name. Sometimes it's really nice when they're feeling a little low, like maybe they're not learning as much as their peers or whatever. It's nice to bring this out and say, do you remember you were actually testing above? Or it's just nice to look at. I like having the results in case, again, somebody comes, I can say, no, we are kind of doing really well. So their CAT 10 results. I also have this worksheet. This also is on the South Dakota State website, education website, but I'll post the link on my Facebook group and probably below this video as well. because this is probably very similar to all states. I like it because it in bold is already added what, if they were to graduate, they would need to take along with their grades. Now you could also add their like number grade or letter grade as well and make this a transcript. So I have a working copy, and then I also create, wow, I guess I shouldn't. I have a working copy, and then I have like a very pretty copy that I'll do at the end of the year to keep track of. If you haven't seen how I planned for 4 years, please check out that video because I think it's very informational. And I think it was mind-blowing when I just figured it out because I was stressing about it. So I just really want to show that information. But this is how this I use as well as the pretty picture to guide me through the 4 years. On top of that, I have created this Excel spreadsheet, and I will also post this, which just has all of their classes that they would need to take according to this transcript, and I break out which years. I am starting this with my daughter who will be entering 6th grade. It is very early, so it doesn't need to be done. Like him, I started in 5th grade because my daughter was in 7th grade and she was getting ready to prepare. So I just figured I'd make one for him. But as you can see, it's crossed out, marked out. I write down our electives. This is also a really good sheet if you don't want to use the South Dakota one to keep track of your transcript and what classes they're taking when. So yeah, I'll post this. Behind that, I keep a course of study. So if you haven't seen my video on a course of study, please check that out. I didn't invent it. I'm pretty sure I told you who I found it from. I like doing this. It also keeps track, it's probably redundant, but it keeps track of which curriculum we did. And then if you haven't seen my videos on how I make a language arts curriculum for reading, I just pick some classic books. I have Home Learning Year by Year, and so I look in that book to kind of get my list together of what I want them to read. I also have Character Develop. If you haven't seen the course of study, please check it out. That's what this is. Okay, that's behind every child. And then at the very end is just some reference. I do Layers of Learning, and so Layers of Learning has this Units at a Glance sheet for all 4 years. Sometimes, like for history, we'll just do chapter by chapter in Story of the World. Sometimes I'll follow Layers of Learning. Sometimes I'm like, that one seems boring, let's do a different one. And so this tells me what unit is being covered where, so I can just quickly go to that. On top of that, they also have this correlation sheet. Layers of Learning does history, geography, art, and science. So they have this correlation that goes with Kingfisher, Usborne, and the Story of the World, or the DK or Khan Academy, it looks like, for science as well. So they correlate which videos or which chapters will work best for that unit. So this is just more reference material because I don't want to have to search through my email or search their website to find this. I just quickly, as I'm planning for Layers of Learning, will pull this up. If I haven't already written this information inside of the Layers of Learning book, that would be a pro tip if you're doing Layers of Learning, is to, if it says Story of the World chapter 15, put that in the front where all your book list is at. Let me just save you time. Okay, so and then at the end of my binder is just blank paper because I do take this binder around the house when I am trying to plan or when I'm looking at how we're doing curriculum wise. I used to have the same Excel spreadsheet that was very similar to this one, but it would have like math, and then it would have lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3 for the entire week, because somebody I saw on here planned for the entire year. That didn't work out for me, but it allowed me to see if I would be able to fit the entire curriculum in for the year. So I do have that spreadsheet that I can post to if that might be helpful for you, that you could also include and just kind of check off when you get it done and see where you are throughout the year. So if you have any questions, please let me know. This is really just what's inside of my Teacher Master Binder. If anybody were to ever knock on my door, or if I'm planning, it's just quick reference information. So happy homeschooling.